Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a new follow-up video. I'm actually going to be following up with two different videos. One was a haul try-on style video, and then one was a trying new makeup video, but I thought I could combine these, so I do have a lot to get through today, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so like I said, this is going to be following up two videos. One is the Ulta haul and try-on video. I will have that linked down below, and another one is a trying new makeup video. I was trying out some products from Persona Cosmetics, Lawless, Benefit, and also Ofra, so again, that video will be linked down below. I did also want to say that I am catching a cold. I do not feel well today, so if you can tell in my voice or just in like my general demeanor, I woke up at about 3 a.m. and I woke up because I didn't feel good. I was like, oh no, my husband had a cold pretty much since the moment we touched down in Iowa from our trip, and I was trying so hard to avoid it, and it has bestowed itself on me, so that's fantastic. So I am going to get through this video, take my makeup off, take a hot shower, and go lay down and try to kick this thing. So boo, 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 boo. Okay, but jumping into it, so the Ulta haul and try-on video that I did, I had a lot of products in there from the Dose of Colors and Desi x Katy collection. I have actually touched on a lot of these products in some of my past videos. So that was why I figured, I could briefly go over these and then add in another video to this follow-up video as well. But the first item that I tried in there was the Friendcation palette. Now, I just mentioned this in my latest regret video, and it was makeup I don't regret buying. And I talked about, like, I feel like I just raved about this eyeshadow palette because I've been having such a good time with this eyeshadow palette. This is a $55 palette. I was a little bit unsure how I was going to feel about it. I thought these colors in here would really speak to me, and I've been so happy with them. I love the mattes. The shimmers are so beautiful, all of them in here. Dirty Money is so gorgeous. This one here, which is called Just a Kiss, is so pretty. I love the mauves in here. And like I mentioned in my regret video, I watched Samantha Ravindall's video on this palette, and she kind of showed how to mix and match the different shades, so you can actually layer some of these metallics together and create new shades. I've just been having the best time with this palette. I know it is really expensive at $55. If you have Ulta points or some sort of Ulta deals, I know I just got another email the other day that I think Platinum members got like 3 times points again or something like that. I mean, if there's something that you've been looking to grab for Ulta and you are wanting a new eyeshadow palette, this would definitely be one that I would recommend because I've been having such a good time with it. I'm so happy about that. So happy about that. And then I also used their lip products in there. So I purchased just 2 of the velvet lipsticks that they came out with, and then I also purchased their gloss. They came out with some bullet lipsticks as well, and then they came out with this velvet lipstick formula. Now, I love the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks. I talk about them a lot. I've purchased many shades, but these are velvet lipsticks, so they're definitely different in formula, I will say that. I picked up both of the shades in My Main and also a Mauve Story. Now, I did mention a Mauve Story in my October lip picks video, so I brought back my lip pick series, and I'm doing it in a top 5, bottom 5 series, and I mentioned a Mauve Story in my top 5. So again, kind of already touched on these lipsticks, but I thought that I would just kind of briefly mention it again for the follow-up video. Now, I love a Mauve Story. It's totally my type of vibes. I love this shade so much, but I also really do like My Main. So this one is a Mauve Story. This one is My Main, and I was actually just wearing My Main in, I think it was my 9 brands video that I was wearing My Main in there. So if you want to see reference of what it looks like on me, I do have it on in that video. I love these shades. I think that they're perfect for me, what I like to have in my collection, and I really do like the formula. I do not like this formula more than I like the regular Dose of Colors liquid lipstick formula. I will say that. I like that the Dose of Colors regular formula dries down completely matte. It's totally transfer proof on me, and it lasts a very long time. These they dry down, but they don't dry down like 100% matte. I get a little bit of transfer here and there. It's not like too sloppy. It doesn't end up all over my face or, anything like that. It doesn't move around a lot, but it definitely does not dry down 100% matte. And, Desi and Katy have said, I knew that going into it. So I'm not saying like I was like played or anything. But I'm just saying that's one thing that makes me not like it as much as the Dose of Colors, but I feel like the long wear time is still really good on these. I still feel like I'm getting, the color is long lasting on me. Some of the kind of like shine fades away after a while, but I also think it's really easy to reapply. It's a nice and thin formula, so it's very easy to reapply without getting too cakey on my lips. So I still really do like the velvet lipstick formula, and again, I love these shades. If these are your style of shades, I would definitely recommend these. And then I also did pick up the gloss gloss in Over the Top. This was the gloss that they put out with their first release, and then they relaunched it with this second collaboration that they did with Dose of Colors. I like this lip gloss. I definitely bought it because so many people were hyping it up. I mean, they brought it back because it got so many like raving reviews with the first launch that they did. I tried to do a swatch here. I mean, it is a pretty sheer gloss, but it has some really beautiful sparkle in it. I like the gloss. I'm not a big lip gloss person myself. I don't wear it a ton. I don't always gravitate towards it. I like trying out new glosses though, so every once in a while something will strike my fancy and I'll pick it up. And I like this. I'm glad that I got my 3 times points on it with this order, because to me, I think that if you're a big lip gloss person, you're gonna really love it. I think if you're like me and lip gloss isn't an absolute necessity in your life, you probably don't need this. I think that you're going to be okay. Like if I were to let my friend borrow this and she didn't give it back to me for a month, I'm not gonna defriend her on Facebook, you know? Like, we can work through it. Because I do like it. I do think that it looks pretty. I like the formula of this one. I've tried a couple of the Dose of Colors like regular lip glosses in the past and I wasn't a big fan. I just thought they were kind of like, not like super goopy, but I don't know, like I could feel them, you know? This one I think is really smooth. I like the glossy effect to it. The sparkles don't show up on me as much. I think if you really want that sparkle look, you have to wear this alone, and I don't typically wear lip gloss alone. So I wish the sparkly effect would happen just a little bit more with like when I'm topping it over, you know, my main, a Mauve Story or another lipstick, but I still like it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. If you love lip gloss, you'd probably really like this one. If you're not a big lip gloss fan and you were still like, should I buy it? Should I, you know, jump into the hype? You probably don't need it, you know? That's what I'm gonna say about that one. Okay, so those were the items from the Dose of Colors and Desi X Katy collection, and then the other item that I tried in that video was from Makeup Revolution, and this was their Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer, and I believe this guy is $12, and again, I picked it up from Ulta. I picked mine up in the shade F6. So one thing that I noticed on here, I think I mentioned this in the video, but it's not a full fluid ounce, it's 0.8 fluid ounces. A lot of foundations are the 1 fluid ounce, so $12 is still definitely affordable, and it is affordable, I believe, for 0.8 fluid ounces, but I did want to point that out. The applicator is not my favorite style of applicator. It's this kind of giant doe foot, and I feel like I do have to come back in, because I don't know, can you even tell right there, like the product is only going right there and you're only getting a bit, so to cover your full face it really does take a while to get it all in there. Unfortunately, I did not like this when I was trying it out for the first time on camera, and I still do not like this. I think I've tried it, I think it's been 4 times now that I've used this one, and I just continually have not enjoyed it. This foundation I feel like is really confusing because as I was trying it, I have dry skin, and I was saying, you know, I feel like right off the bat, if you have dry skin, you might not like this. If you have oily skin, I think you could really like it. Casey Holmes is one of my favorite YouTubers, and I know that she has really oily skin, and she has just been raving about this foundation. So I was like, okay, so maybe it's good for oily people. But then as I was watching more reviews and more people trying it, I've seen people with dry skin hate it. I've seen people with dry skin love it. I've seen people with oily skin love it. I've seen people with oily skin hate it. So I really have no idea how, like, who I'm recommending this for, but I'm just going off of me personally. I did not like it. I did not like it on my dry skin. The last time I tried it, which was just about, I'm gonna say like 8 or 9 days ago or something, it was right before I left for my trip to Alabama. I tried it one more time because I was like, I just want to make sure, just want to be totally positive before I come on and give my review. And when I was trying it, you know, last month or whatever it was, maybe like 5-6 weeks ago, I was still dry. Like I still had dry skin, but our weather has definitely changed pretty significantly here in Iowa. It is so cold. We've had to bust out our humidifier for our room to try to get some moisture back in there because our room was so dry, and it's been really chilly here. In my face, I've definitely noticed that I'm starting to get those sneaky dry patches coming back up. The last time that I used this, I really felt like that was the most horrible that it's looked on me. I don't think it's ever looked great on me, but that was the most horrible that it looked on me. So that's why I really feel like if you have dry skin, you probably are not gonna like this. But again, some people are saying differently. I've tried it with different foundations. I've tried applying it with a sponge. I've tried it with different primers. I've tried it with a sponge. I've tried it with a brush. I definitely prefer the sponge because I feel like it's a very drying foundation. So I realized as I was trying it more, that I really only like to apply some like on this side of my face, really take my sponge and blend it out, then add more to this side of my face, blend it out, then add to my forehead, and so on. Because if I do my full face like I normally would with, like, if I'm using the Clinique foundation, which has a similar applicator, the Rimmel, what is it, Stay Perfect foundation, the Rimmel foundation, that has the similar applicator, I can put that all over my face and then blend it out. This one, it's like, it's so dry. If you do that, by the time I got to my forehead, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't blend this out. What is going on here? So I definitely would recommend that, that style of applying the foundation. But also just, it looks dry on me. It looks very cakey. I don't mind the actual coverage on it if I look past everything else. The coverage on it is a nice medium to full coverage. So that part I think is good, but it emphasized all my dry skin. Like I said, it was very just cakey looking on me. I felt like I was wearing a lot of makeup, and it also felt very tight on my skin. Like when I would like smile, I felt like I was wearing like paint on my face and like it was cracking on my face. I didn't find it to be very long wearing as well. And also the shade match I thought was very strange. It applied super, super light. Again, I got the shade F6. It applied way lighter than I was expecting it to, but it also did oxidize. So that is something that I wanted to throw out there as well. Because when I first put it on, I definitely felt very ghostly, and then after just a couple hours, it had turned darker on me. So those are kind of my thoughts and what I have found with trying out the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define a Full Coverage Foundation. Unfortunately, this one was a miss for me. I'm glad that it was only $12, so it wasn't like a super pricey miss, but this one definitely did not work for me. I'm not going to be reaching for it anymore after being able to give this review and try it out. I'd love to know if you guys have tried it. What do you think of it? Let us know maybe you're a skin type too, or if you have best tips of how to apply it or your favorite primer to use with it. I don't know, but unfortunately, this guy was a no-go. Okay, so next up I have another product that I've been mentioning in quite a few of my videos and saying how much I enjoy this, so I will just touch on this briefly, but this is from Lawless Beauty. This is the Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder. I did get these sent to me in PR. I got sent the Classic Translucent and also the Brightening Translucent. These are $36. It is also a Golden Translucent powder as well. These are $36, and they are also available at Sephora right now. I have been loving these. I especially have been loving the Brightening Translucent powder for under my eyes. I don't know what it is with loose setting powders recently. I was off them for like a solid year. I was not using any sort of loose setting powders, really not a lot of powders in general, but definitely reaching for pressed powders more. And now all of a sudden, I don't know if brands are just coming out with some really bomb ones, but I've been reaching for them so much, and these are fantastic. Like I said, I prefer the brightening for my under eyes because it definitely gives a brightening effect, but it's not too much. I used to be really into like that very, very highlighted under eye look. I'm not quite there, but I still like it to be have a little bit of effect, and the brightening definitely does it without going overboard. And also the Classic Translucent I really like for all over my face. I think it's really good at setting the makeup, keeping it long wearing. It also is, I mean, it's definitely mattifying, but it doesn't make me look too matte. It doesn't look cakey at all. I can apply it with a sponge, I can apply it with a brush, and I think it looks really good either way that I do it. But I've just been so impressed with both of these. So you can use the Classic Translucent under your eyes as well, and I definitely have also. Like my personal favorite right now is definitely the brightening one. I just think it looks so beautiful on the under eyes. Very like a flawless finish to it, but also the Classic Translucent all over the face makes my skin look so nice, and I feel like it's really helped hold up my makeup. So I would definitely recommend these new releases from Lawless Beauty. Alright, so next up I want to talk about these products here from Persona Cosmetics. So I was really excited. Persona Cosmetics actually did send this over to me. I have been really enjoying a lot of their products. They're kind of a newer-ish brand, I would say. Started by Sonia from Simply Sonia here on YouTube. I really like the lipsticks, the highlights, the Identity palette, and they're also available at Ulta. But she sent over the Color Theory Eye Kit in pink. They also have a copper one as well. It's $38, and inside you do get a 5-pan eyeshadow palette. You also get a blending brush and then an eyeliner. And I thought that was a pretty sweet deal to get all three of these items, and it comes in a little, like mine came in a little pink bag. So for the eyeshadow palette, it is what I have on my eyes today. Now this is an all matte palette, so obviously I did not just use this. I also have one of the MAC pretty shiny things like glitter topper on as well, but the pink shadows are all from this palette. I think I used every shade today except for fuchsia. this fourth shade here. I really like this eyeshadow palette. It's nice and compact. I like that you get the mirror in here. You know, it's definitely very monochromatic, of course, just like what the copper one is in that color theory. So if you like these types of colors, I would definitely recommend the pink one. I love this. I love pink looks, obviously. I wear a lot of pink and I have no shame in that because I enjoy pink looks so much. I really, really like this palette. The colors are very pigmented, yet they blend very easily. I did do an Instagram tutorial, so I did film this look for my Instagram. If it's up right now, I will have it linked. If not, it will be coming very soon. But especially when I put this shade pink down, it's a very pigmented pink, and you almost kind of think as you're placing it like, uh oh, is this gonna go well? And then you start blending, and it is so easy to blend out these shades, even the darker shades. So I've been very impressed with that. Also the brush. This brush is really, really nice. And I mean, a good blending brush always comes in handy. So I think that's super cool that this comes in here, because single brushes by themselves, depending on obviously what brand you get it from, but they can, you know, be up there in price. So to come in the kit, I think that is great. I love that she included a blending brush. It's obviously, I mean, I did use it for my Instagram tutorial, but it has gotten a lot of love for me, so I think that's awesome. The eyeliner I don't think is like a standout or anything. I do have it on my waterline and smudged a little bit on the lash line as well. So this one is in the shade Plum. I like it, but it's not like the creamiest eyeliner I've ever used. It doesn't just like boom show up on my waterline right away. I do think it's long wearing on the lash line, but on the actual waterline, I don't feel like it lasts very long there either. So I don't love this as much as like my Urban Decay or my Pure eyeliners or anything like that, but it's a nice eyeliner, and I think it's nice and complementary to the kit. Eyeliners can definitely be a very overlooked makeup product, so I think it's fun that they included one in there, and especially one in the same color theory. So overall, especially, you know, I can't speak to the copper one, but especially for the pink one, I would definitely recommend the set. The standout to me for sure, of course, is the eyeshadow palette. I mean, that's really what you're paying the most money for. I think it's great, but also this brush, I think that's really awesome. So for $38, I would recommend this from Persona Cosmetics. Now also in there, I tried out from Benefit one of their new products. This is the Benefit Brow Contour Pro. Woo! I really struggled with this guy, and as I was going along, I just thought, why did you do this for the first time on camera? You're not always the best at brows, like especially when going with a new brow product. Even if it's just a regular pencil, sometimes if it's the first time to me, I'm like, wait, how do I do brows again? Where do I put product? I don't know. So I was like, oh boy, because kind of the thought behind this pencil is that you're supposed to be able to do it all in one. So you see these different, I don't know, doohickeys up here. Is that the correct word for them? So you can pop down different shades, and then the different shades will come out here. So we have a defining shade, a deeper shade, a lighter shade, and also a highlighter. So you're supposed to be able to fill in your brows, be able to clean them up, and highlight under the brow bone. I totally get the concept behind it, and I've seen fairly mixed reviews of these, but I feel like people who really like it, they like really, really like it. For me, it's not necessary, because I really only need one shade to do my brows. I really don't clean up my brows, and a lot of times if I'm highlighting the brow bone, which I don't do all the time, but if I do, I'm typically doing it with an eyeshadow, not with like another pencil product. So for me personally, it's just a miss because it's not something that I need, and this is $34. And I know someone actually commented the other day and asked me if you could buy refills of just the individual products, shades inside here, because she said, well, I'm almost out, you know, of the lighter or the deeper shade because I use it so much, but everything else is still, you know, there. I don't want to buy a whole new pencil. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to think about as well. I haven't seen them offering refills on this, but you know, definitely something to think about there. I also had this sent to me in PR, and they sent the shade Blonde Light, and the light shade really didn't look great on me. Once I started doing the deeper shade, I was like, okay, this definitely looks much better on my brows. So that's just kind of a shade reference if you're like anywhere close to me, just so you have that reference. But I think it's just big. I mean, compared to like the regular pencils that I'm used to, it's definitely just like a thicker pencil, a bigger pencil. It just was kind of more awkward to me. And I don't think that Precisely My Brow or my Goof Proof from Benefit are in danger of being replaced by this. I was really glad to be able to try it out and see my thoughts on it. If you're someone who does all of these different steps, you might like it just fine. But for me, it's just not a necessary product. And as someone who's not like a brow expert, I would say, I just had a little bit of a tougher time with it. So if you got your comfort zone, I mean, you probably don't need to get this product, but if it's something that you think that you're going to be able to use frequently, I mean, I still think it's okay for that. Just for me personally, it's gonna be a miss for me. Okay, and then the last product that I have to share here is from Ofra Cosmetics. I got a really sweet PR package from Ofra and I was very excited about it. And it also came with this face palette. I love face palettes, so I was all about this. This is the Toasted Cashmere palette. This is a part of their holiday release. So inside you have a bronzer, you also have a blush, and then the highlight in here is Rodeo Drive. So this is $29. So you have the 3 shades, you have a mirror, you have a really nice compact, nice packaging on it, and I highly, highly recommend these. I believe I've mentioned this. I think it was in my best buys at Ulta Beauty video. I mentioned this one in here because if you're a fan of face palettes and you're someone who utilizes them a lot, I would definitely suggest this one. The bronzer is really nice. It's pigmented without being overly pigmented. You can blend it easily. The blush shows up really well. It has a nice sheen to it. It's not a totally matte blush. The bronzer is matte. The blush has a little bit of a sheen, and then obviously we have the Rodeo Drive highlight, which is a pretty blending highlight. I really enjoy the Ofra highlighters. I have a lot of them. I've bought a lot of them myself, and I think Rodeo Drive is a really beautiful one. It's a little bit more on kind of like the gold champagne side. Like it's not too gold. It's not a deep gold, but it also has like a nice hint of champagne in there, and I think that it's really beautiful. So I really don't have any complaints about this Ofra Toasted Cashmere palette. I've been reaching for it so much, and I would definitely highly recommend this one. And again, it's also available at Ulta Beauty if you're interested in it. But other than that, that is going to wrap it up for today's video, following up on 2 different videos where I was trying out some products for the first time. I hope that you found these reviews helpful. I'll have the first impression videos linked down below in case you want to see how the first impressions went. And I will also have all these products listed down below in case you're interested in any of them. But let me know your thoughts. Have you tried any of these products, and what do you think of them? I would love to know. I am gonna go wash this makeup off and try to beat this cold, and I hope that I feel better tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.